to try this and see how it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
it's fun.
Why would you not?
I just want to do more fun things. I also need to be creative. I need to go back to like what I liked to do when I was a kid, and this is part of it. And it's just more. It's like fun. We have to have some.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's incredibly important.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you just saved yourself about 10 years.
Well, your snack hour creation is what helped us figure out that we wanted to do this. So we're
amazing!
Very, like,
Love that.
Genuinely.
Super grateful.
Cool.
It's
Yeah,
such
no,
a
it's
hack.
It's oh my god.
But yeah, there was a time when I was still in school. Chandler lived in New York because we both went to TCU in Fort Worth.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, and we have always been
Frogs.
such good friends. Literally, go Frogs. But we have another sister as well, and so we all wanted to do something together.
Yeah.
The other sister now lives in Hawaii, so she's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do something and been trying to figure out what it is for a long time. And I think a big part of us even being able to have time to flesh out what it was getting time on each other's calendars.
Yeah, totally.
And snack hour.
Yeah.
Long distance snack hour.
Yep. I mean, it was such a hack. The way that it came about too was like almost a panic attack. That
It's like desperation.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many little things that I really want to do that require more time. Like this EQ school that I've been teasing off and on for a while. Like it has to, like, it's going to happen. I have all the parts and pieces now, but I'm still a one-man band with the exception of the guy who's now shooting the pep talks with me. So like the logistics of, and especially coming from a decade of like, I don't get in the weeds. If I'm in the weeds, everybody's fucked.
Yeah,
like
that's not good.
yes.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, cool, I want to set up this EQ school. Like, let me set up the storefront so that you can purchase the thing. But then what is the trigger for the scheduling? And then how do people get like all the bits and parts and pieces?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, banging away on my
Building
laptop,
the
like
whole thing.
building the whole thing, like
Wild.
all the logistics, soup to nuts. Because it'll be the fastest way to get it done, I think, right? And then I'm trying to like bob and weave through all of these different little projects that I've got, like writing the book and the podcast off and on again, and then like, holy shit, what am I posting today? Let me go pick up my kid from school. My wife wants to go get groceries in the afternoon. I'm like, shit, I didn't time block that in, but like,
It's not in the
hell
15
yeah, I'm
minute
gonna go do
increment.
that. Yeah.
It's wild how many creative projects you have and you balance all of them at the same time.
I mean, very poorly, but like, I'm a firm believer in saying yes to way more than you should.
Yeah.
Like, that's helped me out tremendously. Like, there are a few crazy things that I've come across where if I wasn't dumb enough to say yes to the first thing, the second thing wouldn't have happened. And especially over the 4 or 5 years that I was making content while working that job.
Yeah.
And the things that I said yes to that like were arguably should have been a hard no. Like, this just does not make sense whatsoever. But especially with like the most encouraging wife ever and her being like, no, cool, go do these things. There were a series of other things that happened only because I was dumb enough to say yes to the first thing. And I also think that I'm one of those where I need to grossly over index on effort and time put in to be able to do what I want to do. Like, I don't see any of this happening had I not had a 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. schedule
Yes.
and continued to do so. Like, it's just not possible. So,
Well, I also think that with social media, I mean, our age people feel like you either have to go into corporate or you have to do influencing, or it's a combination of both. And like,
That's super
that's
true.
it.
yeah.
And I think I mean, I follow you for a really long time, but your pivots and the way you've been able to go into different things without, I mean, I don't think you would say that you were prepared for any of them, right? Like, you just did it.
Yeah.
And see what happens, and like it worked out for you. But a lot of people our age are like, I don't really want to do this job anymore, but I feel like I need to do an influencing job because there's nothing else. I'm like, no, there's literally hundreds of millions of options.
Oh my God. Totally.
So many.
Like,
Just take a break and go be a ski instructor, come back and like try something different.
1,000%.
You know?
I mean, I learned so much as a kid working at a driving range and always being curious, like, what do these people do? Like, there's a stupid amount of money at this place. Not that I'm like chasing money, but like, I'm just curious, like, where do you all come from? How are you all able to do this thing that is this expensive, like really nice place? And
on a Tuesday in the middle of the afternoon.
exactly. Like what, like, yes, who are
Yeah.
like, and who are you? And like, why do you have 4 kids that are all able to like, tell me more about this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, wait a minute, you could like own like a pool construction company and
Yeah.
make $1 bazillion, or because you do assume, and it like it starts super narrow and then it starts to widen up. I think the older you get and the more exposed to, the more open-minded you are to it, of wow, there are so many different things to do, which is like the whole
So many.
part of the reason why I'm continuing to try to push the narrative of appreciation in general, because I think that that can be incredibly helpful relative to what are my options.
Yeah.
You're like, we're sitting in a room right now with like literally a bazillion career options surrounding us.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the time to notice things, so like, you know what? I just want to make really fucking weird tchotchkes. And
you can.
Yeah.
but you notice, but it starts with noticing the thing and being like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, who sat around a table and was like, we need to talk about our product line for next fall.
Right.
Here are the things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how many of those
Make
weird
it
things?
flow.
What is that thing? How many of them are out
Yeah.
there?
That's a good point.
But like, if you think that way, your options just grow exponentially in the
Right.
wildest way, and you're just like a bit more well versed in what the hell's going on in the world overall, versus being like, and I understand why some people are like, shit, I need to go do these things, and like, here's kind of the path, and
yeah.
but hopefully the positive byproduct of a way more open conversation in society these days because of social media is more people getting comfortable with like, oh, here are all these options.
Yeah.
It's being less scary because of that too. It's like
Totally.
you're not trapped. You
Yes.
never are.
Right.
I think that's the thing that really gets us is
Yeah.
feeling trapped.
Yeah.
And I think the older you get, I mean, the harder it is. You have more responsibility, more obligations, more people counting on you. That's a whole different story.
It is at the same time too. I feel so fortunate that this is the way that it went down.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could have handled a lot of what transpired at your age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how I would have reacted to all of a sudden being recognized in public and like all the other things. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that I'm like way more sturdy, especially in some of the times where I've gotten like destroyed online. Like, it made it like way more helpful
I
to
don't
be like,
understand how anyone could say anything negative, like genuinely.
I mean, did you see? I mean, maybe you didn't, because I took it down before.
What?
You saw it when I got destroyed for being at the White House in December of, Jesus, what year was that? I guess 24. For going to the holiday party.
You went to the White House holiday party?
Correct. And
How was that?
it was
so
nuts.
many cool
I bet that's the
experiences
most
in
insane
your life. I can't
thing.
even do
It was the most. It was one of 4 trips that I made there before
What?
the last election. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. How did you get into that?
It goes back to the whole thing of like saying yes to stuff.
Yeah.
I got invited to VidCon Baltimore, which was like the way lesser of the VidCons.
Yeah.
I'd already been to the other VidCon, had a friend that was one of the heads of VidCon, was like, hey, you want to come to Baltimore too? And I'm like, this is very much at a stage where I don't know what the hell I'm doing with all of the things. This must have been 23, I guess. But I'm like, it's one more chance. They have one more public speaking appearance. And like, they're offering me 2 different like, it was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll figure this out.
Yeah.
And of course, my wife was like, yes, you should go do it. Like, you have 2 chances to speak. And one of them was a very hardcore, like, creator economy thing. And the other one was like a bit more open-ended. So it was like perfect for the stuff that I love to talk about. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll say yes to it. And because I said yes to that, my name ended up on a list with another agency that was working with the White House to get the right group of people around a table to have a conversation about digital messaging strategies.
Okay.
And so I was like, cool, yes to VidCon Baltimore. And then all of a sudden, like, hey, you're on a short list with the White House. We need you to immediately fill out like all of this documentation.
Did your jaw
Yeah.
drop a little bit?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this thing? But also, too, I'm like, what the hell is this? Am I okay for my agenda with my direct reports tomorrow? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Right. Yeah,
right.
because you were still working.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Right. Wow.
So I go through the process and I get vetted properly. Apparently it includes them like watching every single one of your pieces of content, like frame by frame, like looking for anything that would be like no, this person shouldn't be in the White House.
Wow.
And that led to a series of events that led me to getting invited to the holiday party. I go to the holiday party. It's right after the initial attack in Israel, which started the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
And I went on a day. First of all, it was the whole family got invited, right? So like,
Oh, that's cool.
How fun.
yeah. So like the chance of me trying to make some sort of political statement, just is arguably an exercise in futility in that situation, right? Like, with all due respect to what I do in my audience, like, how is that going to change things?
Right.
And also, like, the opportunity to take my daughter to the White House is like kind of a no-brainer.
So once we
Yes.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
And so we said yes, and we went. And as luck would have it, to a certain extent, feels weird saying it that way, but it'll make sense. There was a ceasefire started. Like there was a ceasefire for like 2 or 3 days within the first month-ish, and it was like cool. All of a sudden, there were people who had been captured that were starting to get exchanged between both sides, and it seemed like things were on the up and up. So, didn't see any protesters there. Like, wasn't kind of a cloud hanging over things. Go. In my usual form, I make a very self-deprecating POV coming out of it where, like, you know, I didn't know what to do, so I just stood by the bar and ate all the shrimp.
That's
and
what,
like,
same. I would have done the same thing.
And because you usually don't, or I don't post vlogs the same day, I post it the next day. Ceasefire's lifted. And Cynthia Nixon had started, the woman from Sex and the City, who like ran for governor at one point, or maybe mayor, had started a hunger strike outside of the White House in protest of everything. So I post this like as that starts to like pick up momentum in the algorithm.
Oh.
And it's like,
ooh,
the lovable dad from Brooklyn steps over hunger strike to shove his face full of shrimp at the White House while there's a genocide happening.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
you couldn't
Destroyed.
have planned like
Yeah.
no
For
plan
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
You were not getting out of that.
Stitched thousands of times
Really?
with
Wow.
people like using, because it was like, and I took it down within, I don't know, 24 hours or so, but it was long enough where it was just like
People were
catastrophic
upset.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's the,
Wow. It's just bad timing and it happens.
and that's what happens. And that's part of why I say, like, I'm so glad that this didn't happen when I was in my 20s, because honestly, I don't know that I would have been.
Did it affect you pretty deeply?
Oh yeah, especially the second, like the White House thing, like I had to like have a deep conversation with my mom to be like, am I still, like, who am I as a human being? Like, have I turned into a monster and I don't even realize it? Like, what? Where are my morals? Because I got destroyed
Because you
very
were
publicly.
reading
Everyone was
I was
telling
reading
about
it.
Yeah.
I was seeing people were like, they were using it as a stitch to get into almost French Revolution style, let them eat cake, and that became like a con. They're like, let them eat shrimp. Yeah.
Wow.
And so that just sent me down like a pretty dark spiral of, who am I? What have I done with my career? Have I been a shitty human being over the past 2 decades and I didn't realize it? Like all of these things. Until I was like, no, I'm still the person that my mom raised, who looked at me in Central Park in 1982 and said, you have 2 choices in life. You can have a good time or you can have a bad time. Like, I'm still that person.
It's amazing.
And
Sweet.
anyway, sorry. I
No.
can be super.
No,
I like that.
yeah.
We like tangents. We can
I'm
all talk
fascinated.
a lot. Yeah, they're great.
I'm so for following the tangent.
Yeah.
That's where the good stuff is.
Do you still read your comments after all of that?
More so now. I took a full year off from reading comments in TikTok, and I think the algorithm significantly punished me for that, of like posting and ghosting for a full year without zero engagement from the creator side. Yeah,
It makes sense.
yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And my wife used to read every comment, and she stopped doing that as well, because it's just like, this is too much.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, there's obviously the negative ones that happen, but there's probably the ones that are a little too nice, a little too in your face. Maybe.
I've been pretty lucky in that regard.
Really? You don't
there
have
hasn't
that?
been anything like super awkward or
Okay.
or weird.
Okay.
good.
Because I feel like that would be my fear is a public persona is people think they really know you.
Yeah.
And
Oh, people do, but like this is the funniest thing, right? Like the fact that y'all found me and were like, hey, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
This is never going to be, I shouldn't use absolutes, but like I have a hard time believing that at some point I'm gonna be like, oh, this is super normal.
You're gonna
that
get
this all
numb to it.
happened.
oh, I like that you're
You're
not
right.
numb
That's
to it.
amazing.
Oh,
though.
not even close. Like when
That's cool.
oh my God. it is the strangest thing on the planet when someone's like on the subway's like, hey, like, hi.
Yeah.
Like I get it and I understand and like I love taking selfies with people. It's like
So
the coolest
cool.
thing that's like, wow, this is bringing joy to your day. Like, yeah, they're like, hey, can I bother you for a picture? I'm like, 1,000%.
Hmm.
This can make you happy for the craziest reasons. Like, this is gonna make you happy. Then, like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, and please tag me in it because, like, I kind of want to. I actually wish I had a photo album of every selfie that somebody's asked to take with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
'Cause,
was
like-
Not too late to start.
Not too late to start, but
They're probably like all over the place, you know. But that's
Yeah.
that's a cool idea.
yeah, but it's not. This isn't normal.
I like that you're like that though, because we were talking about that this morning about how like we're very new to this and it's
Yeah.
still nerve wracking and all the things. And you said, I hope we never.
I said,
Get
"Look,
used
I
to
hope
it."
you never stop being nervous because
yeah,
I feel like when you're nervous, it means that you care and that you're excited. And
totally.
something that our friend says all the time is that energy is just like nervous energy is just excitement. You
Yep.
just have to channel it in that way. And so
Yeah.
I think it just is representative of caring a lot
Yeah.
and that you are excited about whatever it is that you're about to do and
Yep.
that the person in front of you matters
Yeah.
enough to be nervous about.
Yep.
I don't want to lose that.
No, I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
That's cool that you are where you are and you're still like, what the hell is this?
Oh my God. It makes it so much more fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, it brings in that element of almost truly like living inside of this movie. And you still get to be the character that's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And there's not a part of it. There's not a part of anything that I could tell you story wise. It's like, oh, this makes sense. And I totally deserve to like do this thing or like belong in this place. Like, no, not even close.
Just wound up.
And like also too, the idea of constantly wanting to like earn my keep, so to speak, again and again and again
Mm.
is something I think is really important and what I was very adamant about within my career, especially when I'm like, you know, when you start to run teams and you're like, I'm the person that makes the most money in this room. Like, yeah, I better be the hardest fucking worker here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if part of my job is impacting your merit increases at the end of the year, then like on what planet does it make sense that I'm just like, oh cool, no, this is deserved and
100%.
it's all good. So then even tenfold for a world in which people recognize me, I get greater opportunities than most other people just because of making content,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm like very adamant about how do I do this the right way and why I give myself a lot of shit for having a terrible content strategy. Like, no, get your act together and like come up with a super smart syllabus. And I mean, I walked out with blueprints to corporate America. I mean, I'm sure you've seen
I've seen him.
a bunch of stuff, but like having been in all of those meetings, going through COVID and sitting in meetings where like it was, you know, a handful of us on the phone with another handful of people making decisions about what the hell to do with 100,000 people in COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Like from that to, I mean, the list of stories that I have about my time in corporate that could then be helpful for other people. Like,
Right.
I have to figure out how to do one along these lines, but I've got one that's like, this is how to deal with a surprise drug test for an employee. Like that really happened where one day I got a call from HR. I'm like, yo, what's going on? They're like, hey, you need to go grab so-and-so and take him down to 42nd Street for a pee test. I'm like, okay, didn't see that one coming. But I was not
Wow.
today, but like
Yeah.
that and God, I mean, so many other things, some that are funny and a bit like interesting along those lines,
Yeah.
but also, you know, what the 9 box is.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in these quadrants, or like, because I see there's so much of that corporate content that's out there that's like, here are ways to tell somebody to fuck off without telling them to fuck off. They're lovely. A lot of them are well done, but it's not super helpful.
Right.
It's also going to take people that are already like a bit feeling a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
To just like dig in a bit deeper, which is why like I'm still fumbling through it, and why I'm really glad that this is how to chill the fuck out but still care seemed to strike a chord.
Yeah, it's so important.
Because like, chill the fuck out, and like, yes, you should watch the videos that tell you how to tell people to fuck out, but like, be yourself, work your ass off, and be nice. And like, there's some really simple ways that you can be way more successful than you could have ever fathomed. But it's not going to be by creating these like divisive ways of approaching the day, or like you have to protect yourself from these kinds of things other than just staying true to who you are as a kid. Like, that's way more people like, well, I got to go and have this, back and forth with Bobby about whatever. And the more passive aggressive I am about my emails, then it's all going to be better. It's like, no, nurture your inner child.
Right.
Like, who the fuck cares about Bobby and that stupid ass back and forth
Bobby.
about who's right
Yeah.
in this God knows what situation at work. And so I feel so gifted having walked out to be like, I want people to listen, because I'm like, I have 25 years of this shit in my back pocket at this point. And 11 of those years was like from a position where I know millions of you would be like, what happens in those rooms? And I'm like, I can tell you. So like, extracting it the right way is why I get so flummoxed with myself of like, how in God's green earth have you spent, I'm like, day 500 and probably 78, maybe 580 now since I left my job. And as I count these things, and I'm still like, shit, I don't know what I'm posting today. I got something that's like, half baked in my laptop right now. That's like kind of a reintro video, but like, you start to grossly overproduce those, and you're like, well, I need this B-roll clip and I need that. And it's like, dude, just fucking make a piece of content. Like, so.
I also feel like your life was so structured for such a long time. It might be nice to have the freedom to just be like, okay, I'm going to post this today. This feels good.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe not now though.
But I don't feel like it's serving the purpose that I have, or I don't feel like it's serving your purpose. Like, on my laptop for a while, when I bought my first laptop ever, which is hilarious, that like literally I never had to buy a laptop for myself up until 2 years ago.
What?
Because of work, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
right.
always
yeah,
had a work
yeah.
device.
Yep.
Like, literally since 2004, I always had a work device. I mean, when I tell you that this ocean of stuff that's in my head that I've learned, and so I feel like I'm carrying it around in a knapsack, and I keep on my desktop. For a while, it said, does it serve your purpose, was what I had written on my desktop background, right? That was also like, buy a laptop and I get to design my own desktop background. When I've been in charge of the team that was designing the desktop backgrounds for the rest of the company, I'm like, now I get to do my own. So
Freedom.
Does it serve your purpose, right? With that being the purpose of paying forward everything that I've learned. And that worked for a while. And then I realized it's more about like, well, who cares about my purpose? Going back to, well, what do you want to talk about? Like, how can I help you? So now it says, does it serve their purpose? As a constant reminder for anything that I'm doing. So yes, there's like the nice, I could just do some random stuff. And I did something like, I've always wanted to just sit down in every chair in my house, because I felt like for years, like, I've got a lot of nice furniture and I don't spend any time in any of it.
It's so true.
And so like I did this one piece where it's like, I just saw it in my head, because the reason why these worlds collide, I watched way too much MTV as a kid. All right. So like, my mom had me watch some really weird movies when I was really young. She was like, oh, cool, you're old enough to watch Woody Allen at 5. And like the 1970s Woody Allen movies are crazy. Sleeper. Even like Manhattan wasn't a weird movie. It was a beautiful movie. But like the thing, she was like, exposed me to Cheech and Chong at way too early of an age too.
Your mom sounds awesome.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah.
She's absolutely the best. Like, a lot of what you all see, only child, spent a lot of time with her. A lot of what you all see is a derivative of who my mom is. Artist.
That's cool.
Super proud recovering alcoholic. cancer survivor 7 times over, like one of the baddest mother effers on the planet.
7 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 times, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just turned 80. She's a gem. So when it comes to just like making random stuff, I have a million terrible ideas in my head of like music videos, and I was practicing. I'm obsessed with Nas. Like Nas is my
the best.
favorite. Yes, I mean GOAT, right? Like, and so I was making a piece the other day. I'm like, I'm gonna lip sync "Get Down." It's the first
So
track.
good.
Yeah, and it was like just a super random thing that popped out of nowhere. So yes, the freedom to come up with those really weird ideas is amazing. And I think something everybody should 1,000% lean into. Like, as you're making stuff, go make the weirdest ideas in your head. Maybe you don't post them, right?
Mhm.
But never
just-
have that, like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do this.
Yeah.
At least like make it and then watch it for yourself. I think that that's super healthy. I feel this extremely like tight grip on, and I was even trying to figure it out. Maybe you guys can help me with this. Figuring out what is the opening hook for this reintroduction, right? 14,000 new people is not normal
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's tons.
even with a large-ish following, like it's still a lot. And how do I explain, because I am obviously incredibly long-winded, in a succinct way, right? That opening hook of like, this is why you should lean in, or like this is why you should care, right? And that's not what the hook that I'm going for is. Like, have you seen the movie Blues Brothers?
Mm-mm.
You never seen the movie Blues Brothers?
Should I
No.
add it to the list?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's a classic. It is Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, may he rest in peace. And like one of them just gets out of jail. It's set in Chicago, and they're basically blues musicians that believe that they're on a mission from God to put their band back together to go like save the world through music, right? Is that a decent synopsis of it? And there's like the craziest car chase scenes that back in whenever it was produced, like required them to like literally destroy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Chicago cop cars to recruit to make these scenes. And
Wow.
they kept like, they'd walk into place and people would be like, and they always wore black suits and hats and sunglasses everywhere and like black ties. And they'd always walk in, they'd be like, we're on a mission from God to put this band back together. And so like,
That's what you're looking
so
for.
so yeah, so I'm like, because I mean, I'm religion is a whole nother conversation. I'm not a religious person. Like, there might be a God. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know either way. Like, I think it's up for conversation. And I like to think that there's something magical in the world that God might be bringing that science can't bring. But like, I don't know. Right.
Mhm.
Never met the dude. I just don't know.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to be like, this is being on a mission from God to help pay forward everything that you've learned. Right. Because I do feel like that statement resonates since it's true. But then I'm like, shit, am I going to potentially, anger
Are you open?
people that are religious? And then I'm like, actually, I don't know if there's a God, but should I care? Right. Like,
Yeah.
how many people just like go 100% full volume of themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes for some of the best stuff. Like, did Nas ever think twice about half the shit that he said? Probably 90% of the shit. No. Right. But
I mean, I don't know. I think if it's like authentic and it's coming from a place that is true,
Yeah.
what you're trying to say is true, then I don't know. I think it makes sense. And it
I like
definitely
that vibe, though. I
communicates.
feel like
yeah,
that tracks
it
a lot.
communicates the emphasis of what you're trying to say. So something like
Yeah.
in that realm, yeah, I don't think it would be
Interesting that you have to
misleading.
think about that stuff, though. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I contemplate all of that, especially, I mean, now I've got a 13-year-old daughter whose
Yeah.
friends are going to be like, look what
at
your
your
dad's
dad."
doing today.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. I mean, she's pretty sturdy in this space overall. But I don't know. So anyway, I'm deeply contemplating what is that line to be like,
Mm-hmm.
I am crazy adamant about how can I do my best to take everything that I've learned and pay it forward. Like
Mhm.
that's why I say this kind of vision for something that I'm not close to being, but like that Mr. Rogers of corporate America,
I like that.
like really want to bring that to life. So these are the kinds of things that I contemplate when also in the back of my head is like, go sit in all the chairs in your house and put a
Yeah.
John beat.
There's a lot
and it'll
going
be
on in there
cool.
for sure.
Oh my God.
It's
It's
so good.
it's a mess in there. And then that's when I sit there, I'm like, wow, it's been 600 days and I still really don't have a thorough content strategy here. I wonder why.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'll figure it out. Like you figured out everything else. There's so many things that you have to do. So many things you have to accomplish. It's hard to make sense of a million ideas that you want to put out in the world.
I think especially when you want to be present, right? Like one of the best things that I've done and that I would say to anybody, like whatever you're doing, just be present, right? Like I would like to think in most conversations, and y'all will walk away from this and be like, wow, if nothing else, he was present. Like he didn't seem distracted. He wasn't like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm going to post today. So he's like, oh, watching in just kind of somewhere else in his head. I'm a firm believer that, and this helped me in my career a tremendous amount, when it comes to things like work-life balance and where people can get twisted around, they feel like they need to balance those things in their head all the time. They're like, I'm home, but like I've got this thought about work. And like, of course, you're going to have your brain going in different directions. You know, we just witnessed that in real time.
Yeah.
Mine. But wherever you are, that's where you're choosing to be. And you have to become comfortable with that, right? There's a lot of people on this planet where they don't have a choice, right? But for a lot of us, especially those that might be listening to this podcast or watching on Instagram or whatever, like there's a distinct possibility you've got a lot more free will than you give yourself credit for. And being present is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, like, and I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes that you could make, or a trap that you can fall into, is I don't love what I'm doing out of the gate career-wise. I need to think about where I need to be going. But at the same time, too, I need to do my job so I don't get fired. Then all of a sudden, like 3 to 5 years slip by and you're like, fuck, I haven't been happy in any of this because you weren't present.
Yeah.
And like that's a gift that I think everybody should be allowed to give themselves. It's just like whatever you're doing, you are choosing to do that thing. And that's okay. It may not feel like a choice, and your choices may feel like they're stark at times. Just like, what, do I get up from my desk and walk away and not come back? It's like, you could.
You could, yeah.
You can. That's going to have some consequences, right? Like I don't have to, when people push back on this part of my argument, I'm like, I don't have to go home from here. I don't. Like I could literally go to JFK right now and figure it out. I'm not going to, but like, I think once you get more comfortable with the fact that, oh, like these day-to-days are like so grueling, like for those that, especially earlier in their career, they're still trying to figure out like what the fuck happened to college and all of the things, and like how did
that's you right now.
Yes, me and all of my friends. It's definitely interesting conversations right now. It's like, well, 8 months ago, my life looked completely different than it does right now. Of course. You're now in the marathon.
Yes.
And by the marathon, I mean you're like jumping in midstream, and like everybody else has already been running for a while, and nobody gives a shit that you just jumped underneath the rope. And you're trying your best to be like, cool, do I just start running with everybody? Like, what the hell's going on?
Do I warm up? Do I stretch?
Right, yeah. And there's people of all age ranges and backgrounds and speeds and all kinds of stuff. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just the weirdest thing. But if you're just like, cool, I'm here. And the more present you are, and you seem to have your shit together, just like for a variety of reasons.
Thank you. I do my best.
Yeah. I mean, like you're present and you're cognizant of the decisions that you're making. You're cool with that. Makes a huge difference. They don't have to be the right decisions. They're probably, it's very difficult to make the right decisions in a lot of ways, especially on an ongoing basis.
Totally.
But I think the only wrong decision, especially from a career path perspective, is when you just don't make the most of whatever it is you're doing. If you make the most of whatever it is you're doing, if you're scooping ice cream or if you've got an amazing job at a big company out of the gate, just make the most of it. You could have the amazing job at the huge company, but you're just not making the most of it, and then you're not happy and things don't go the way that you want them to.
I think
that's good.
That sounds like I've heard you say appreciation has, 8 different inputs?
Yep.
So being present obviously is one of them. You can't appreciate stuff if you're not present.
Yep.
Curiosity, to your point about whatever's happening over there. Like if you don't take a minute to ask questions, you're never going to be able to notice something in there and you won't appreciate it.
Totally.
That's interesting that there's that many inputs that go into appreciation.
Yeah.
but most people have to work on them, or they're natural and you just have to pull them out.
I think you have to understand, I think it starts with understanding that appreciation and gratitude are not the same. I think a lot of people conflate the two, understandably. And it's so funny. It's like the practice of gratitude has been seen as this like ultimate thing. And it's amazing. Like, I'm never going to take anything away from what gratitude is and why we should be thankful. But it's transactional.
Right.
It's like, cool, I'm thankful for, because I got something. Right? Like, you're thankful for somebody doing something. You're thankful for the heat, the whatever, your house, like, yes, practicing gratitude 1,000%. You should do it. But appreciation, you could have nothing. I can appreciate that thing over there per our earlier conversation. It's not going to, I mean, yes, you could make a stretch argument that it's like, it's giving me aesthetics in this room, but like, you're not going to practice gratitude that way, right? Like, that is forcing a gratitude narrative.
Yeah.
But you can appreciate everything all the time. And it really is like a drug. Do you guys know what cognitive biases are? And it was so funny because I came up with this, like, the whole story starts with a terrible day at corporate America, and I noticed this manhole cover. Did you watch the TED Talk?
Yeah, we did watch it.
Cool, thank you.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Showed it to our mom last night. She loved it.
That was so horrifying.
You did.
I want to ask you about that too.
Oh my God, that was so horrifying. Before I lose my train of thought on this, but yes, I would be happy to tell you how scared I was and how I destroy myself for how I performed on that too. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, destroy myself for it. Gratitude is transactional. Appreciation is foundational. The ability to open your mind to that is like a drug because it can sit above your cognitive biases, right? So before, like, people are going to have cognitive biases. It's a supernatural thing to have happen. And this was something that started with that terrible day. And I just thought, like, oh, this sounds interesting. And I thought it was kind of a funny way to say it, of get addicted to appreciation, of like, oh, I'm kind of making it sound like a drug and that's going to get people to look at it differently. But like, I never thought it would really go anywhere. It just felt fun and I wanted to believe it very much so for myself.
Yeah.
And then the more I tried to like explain it, especially as I was writing the book and I'm like trying to sell the book idea, I came up with all these crazy ways of how to give some sort of analogy for it. And this last one that I came up with became corroborated by, finally I found somebody, because there's a million things that have been written about gratitude, but like nobody's really studied appreciation with the exception of this one professor at Rutgers who made it like a core element of her studies. And she's the one that had the specific, like, here are the 8 elements of it, and that it actually is a disposition. And to me, I remember this, I was on a flight to Berlin and I had this printout. I had like all these psychology research papers, which was something I never read before until I started writing this book. And I started to laugh my ass off out loud, like uncontrollably. I'm like, there's no fucking way there's a psychologist that like has actually said these things. Like, this is amazing. This is corroborated. This is like,
confirming.
Yeah. Wow.
And the way that it works is we're all floating around and life is happening on a consistent basis. We can be wired and or train ourselves to have a specific disposition, right? That's influenced by parents, it's influenced by our surroundings, it's influenced by all kinds of things. But it's our disposition. If we are cognizant of how appreciation can be used as a disposition, it is going to automatically send us towards certain cognitive biases. Excuse me. And that's going to make us notice things. That's going to make us have a certain feeling about things. That's the reason why some people are like, shit, it's raining for the 3rd day in a row. And some people are like, oh, I wonder what the reservoir levels are at.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And I'm like, I'm not like, hey, I'm the only one that's ever been this way. Let me tell you how to do it. Like, there's a lot of people that are just naturally, we all know them in our lives, that just like some reason see glass half full, whatever the thing may be. And it's really fun to be able to, on my list of my obligations of how do I help explain things to help people, especially when I got a note after the TED Talk from this guy that I used to play hockey with and hadn't heard from him in years. I get this text and I didn't even recognize the number. Had he not signed it, I would have had no idea who it was because we just kind of lost
Yeah.
communication a few years ago. He's like, dude, hope all is well. I just had like the worst couple weeks of my career, and I stumbled upon your TED Talk. I just had to say like I need to look at things differently. Like it was just really kind, like, and to get people to see this too, like I'm like, wow, there's an opportunity to actually make people happier on a day-to-day basis. Like that's a crazy concept. Like let alone the selfies and anything else. Like what an amazing gift to have.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why I do beat the shit out of myself for like why I don't think the TED Talk I performed as well as I could or should have, or why on God's green earth are you still fumbling through content strategy 600 days in and that kind of stuff. But also too trying to be smart enough about like I was really good at my job and I was really good at being a boss, but it's a far different world when you're like, okay, if somebody buys my emotional intelligence class, like what's the trigger to send them a calendar alert so that like
Yeah, the mechanics.
It schedules things by itself. So it's a balance, because if you beat yourself up too much, you're never going to get anything done.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're not self-aware about things, then you could float off into the abyss.
Yeah. I mean, that's the daily challenge.
Yeah.
Literally. Let's maybe go back a tiny bit.
Yeah.
For those that don't know you.
Okay.
You lived in Chicago.
I did. I was born there.
Born there.
Yep.
You were creative as a kid, right?
I was great question. I was a quiet kid, only child, quiet kid raised by a mom who was a airline flight attendant turned artist. She was always an artist, but like she left working for TWA and leaned into art. And a dad who worked in radio. But yeah, I mean, I was a quiet only child who really liked playing by myself and once I loved something, I was like all in on it, and that was ice hockey and golf and music videos, and especially like the music scene in the 90s was
amazing.
Oh my god,
the best. I feel like if I could go back in time to live through new music being created, it would be in the 90s.
Yes.
I feel like it's got I agree because I'm biased, but to a certain extent too, I feel like I'm kind of glad that it's really interesting for my daughter to be now at the age where music was having a massive influence on me at her age. And I compare the albums that came out when I was 13 versus her right now. And it's kind of a weird list of like Metallica, the Black Album, Pearl Jam 10, Nirvana, Nevermind, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Soundgarden had just come out, like Guns N' Roses dropped Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
I mean,
it was amazing, but it was also like Rage Against the Machine had their debut. And so to think of the 13, 14-year-old version of me listening to like Rage Against the Machine and my daughter listening to, I mean, she's a huge Noah Kahn fan, but also I think his name's Benson Boone and like guys where it's like it's definitely more like pop stuff. And so so like all the music and some very specific sports, and give me magazines to cut pictures out of, especially like hockey magazines and guitar magazines and golf magazines to a certain extent. And like that's what my room looked like as a kid.
Yeah, I would say that's super creative. And you were drawn more towards that stuff. So would you say you were more IQ or EQ based?
Oh, definitely EQ. Like I was a god awful student. I was so bad. I remember once I took my friend's homework because I didn't do my Spanish. This is a very vivid memory of mine. And I was so dumb about it that I ripped his name off of the corner and then tried to like show it as my own.
Yeah.
When it was like literally the class before me. It was not my handwriting. Like it wasn't even close. Like I was a very mid-C student. I would hide the reports that got sent home to my house that like showed grades in between grades. I would try to pencil in like 6s to 8s and like that kind of stuff. You know, I was always I hated disappointing people, but I couldn't get myself to just do the schoolwork. Jobs was a piece of cake. Like caddy, loved it. I was because I had responsibilities that had immediate gratification, and it just felt like it was just very different than here, do this longer thing that is going to have an outcome in like 2 months of your grades or like the test next day. And I'm like, I send me out on a driving range and I'll go pick up all the golf balls and I'll be super stoked about it. And I'll be the guy with like the tidiest shift out there. But like the school just never clicked. I still ended up going to a fantastic university that I didn't graduate from, but I just snuck in the back door there. My parents like, how are you going to finish your degree? I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Because back then it would be through the mail, like literally through the mail. And I started to take these classes. I'm like, this is silly. Like I should be spending this time trying to get a job. And then I hid the fact, they're like, did you finish? I'm like, yeah, kind of, I guess. Literally hid it from everybody on the planet until I had to tell my wife when I was 35. So I hid it from her for the first.
How long after you got married?
8 years after we got married. It was came up in a background test for the last job I had. And I was like, hey, they told me not to lie on this thing, but I also don't know that if I say no, I don't have a degree, they're not gonna be like, wait, what? Like you can't have this job. Like this is an executive level job at a big ass company. Like no, it said you had to have a degree. You lied to us. You don't get a job. And so I had to tell him like, hey, I'm going to do what the recruiter said, which is not lie in the form, but that could have some consequences. And I've already resigned from my ESPN job, just a heads up. Then, yeah, I kind of mistakenly said it out loud in a TikTok like maybe 2 years ago now. But then since then, I've done advocacy work for the Ad Council about something called Tear the Paper Ceiling, which is trying to raise awareness of the fact that having a diploma as a mandatory thing on job requirements holds a lot of people back, like in a kind of a discriminatory way, especially people that are coming through the military or people that are acquiring skills through alternative routes.
Agree.
Yeah, I think that is like a long-winded response to what were you like as a kid.
Maybe we can talk about, since you brought up TikTok, what you're known for.
So the 4 to 10 schedule.
Yeah.
How is that born? And I guess, like, how does that support you right now?
It supports me because I need all the time. If I don't have all of that time in a given day, like all the things are not going to happen. And I want all the things to continue to happen. I want to continue to give myself the best chance to see what's possible. And if I don't keep the schedule, I'm not going to, now that I know that it's possible, like to keep the schedule, like there's not a plan in which I'm being like, okay, cool. Like, let me dial it back now and see what happens when I dial it back. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
It was an iterative process. Like my first job, I traveled like crazy, 36 weeks a year. So like time zones and schedules were all over the map. And it was kind of a 7 days a week job. It was live sports production. So it was either like you're investing in how well you can do the job in a very cutthroat, like if you're not awesome, there's going to be a million people out there that want to work for ABC Sports. So like, and I even was set up to not stick around for longer than a year based on the original crew that I was put on. So first job just kind of bred me into, you're going to have to work basically a lot, like a lot to an uncomfortable level versus all of your friends who have normal 5-day week jobs. I bought my own BlackBerry, which my friends thought was crazy. Part of it was to be like, fuck you to the finance bros that were like, oh, cool, I'm super important. I'm like, dude, I got a cool job too. Just because I don't have a fucking BlackBerry doesn't mean I'm like, you can talk down to me at this shitty club that I don't even want to be at. Like, and so I got my own to like invite the world in of like, I'm going to choose the balance.
Like that.
I'm like, this is my story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit what you guys are doing on Saturday mornings. Like, yeah, cool. I'll go to there's an all mimosa place that used to be over on Rivington Street. I don't know if it's there anymore. Bottomless mimosa, I should say. And so, yeah, 1,000% had those experiences too, but like not that often. And a lot of it's just like, I'm choosing what's going to happen here. So that was kind of the beginning of whatever a 4 to 10 window would look like, but in a very sloppy way as a 24 to 27-year-old, just like, you know, kind of like getting into it after several years of substitute teaching and working part-time jobs, like 4 part-time jobs at the same time to just find that first like real gig. And
Wow.
then after I got married and we moved to the West Village, my wife being from Oregon, and she got her first job at CBS News, and she got the graveyard shift. It was like, cool, we'd love to hire you. Your shift starts at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was like, I got a job.
You just do it. Yeah.
There wasn't even a hesitation. It was like, I want to get my foot in the door. She already had an amazing experience for somebody that had just graduated. She was 22 when we got married. And she'd been working part-time for ABC Sports when they came to University of Oregon doing like all this stuff. So she had like a tremendous amount of experience already. So very like kind of a no-brainer from a CBS News perspective of, cool, there's somebody with a lot of experience that's willing to work the graveyard shift. Not that there weren't other people, but like she was like, yeah, cool, like not even going to question it. So the alarm clock back then was like 2.
Wow.
And I was working a normal job, right? So we would wake up at 2. She would get ready. I'd walk her to the corner, is when we lived on Cornelia Street, and put her in a cab. And then I go back to the apartment and I'd fuck around on my Trio for a little bit, just like answering emails. And people are like, dude, why do we get emails from you at 3:00 in the morning? I'm like, my wife is on her way to work.
I'm up.
And then I would go through kind of a normal-ish morning routine of falling back asleep at some point and then waking up and going to the gym and going to, then would transition to ESPN. And so this like constant, just make the most of your day. You're going to have some weird stuff mixed in. What hour it is kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That evolved to, she finally got a normal shift, which started at 6. We moved to Dumbo, was like one of the first wave of people that lived in Dumbo. And that required us to, so I'm like, I'm not going to be like, cool, good luck with a subway at 5 a.m.
Yeah, no, right?
So, especially Dumbo in 2008.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dumbo 2008. There were like 2 residential buildings that were
no way
up at the time. And so I'm like, cool. So I would get on the subway with her, right? So we'd wake up super early, get on the subway together, go in. She was on the Upper East Side. I was on the Upper West Side for work, and drop her off at her building, get on the crosstown bus at that point, 5:50 in the morning. I'd get to the office at 6 a.m., right? Nobody else is there for another like 3 to 4 hours. So I'd work for the first like 3 hours or so, go to the gym, and then some days I would come back and I would still be the first person in the office. Like I'd literally been there for a couple hours, go to the Crunch on like 82nd Street or whatever, get back to the office and be like,
did anyone know you were doing that?
Yeah, everybody did, because they were all getting emails from me and I knew.
Yeah.
And that would like give me the pass to be like, hey, like 5:30, I'm gonna be out of here because it's been like
I have 4 hours. And you guys.
Yeah. It's almost been like 12 hours at
Yeah.
this point that I've been in the office to a large extent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the last job that I had, and that was like a moonshot of, I mean, I was managing a lot and I had a lot of responsibility at ESPN, especially towards the end. Worked on every major platform that they had, with the exception of college sports, but like SportsCenter, NFL, like you name a big property, and it was my responsibility from an integrated marketing perspective, which now gives me a super unfair advantage in a creator economy.
Oh yeah.
Brand integration deals and how I can think about those things, let alone just the corporate experience. And when I took the bigger job, it was like, I don't know if you've heard the story of, they brought me in the Thursday before my first day and they sat me down and they were like, look, in the interview process, we told you there's going to be a lot of change with this department, and this is a new role that's never existed before, but here's what's really going to happen. You're going to inherit 100 people. You have to fire all of them in your first 6 weeks and start the department from scratch. The department has a $10 million deficit that you're expected to erase in a fiscal year. Your department also handles 20,000 projects annually, because you make commercials for small businesses. We do this at scale across the country. None of that work can stop. This is January of 2013. You're letting everybody go in March. You have until September to rebuild the department. Everybody's severance is going to be tied to keeping the ship afloat between March and September. 35, right? I was 35 years old.
Were you like, what the fuck am I doing?
I had a 6-month-old kid at home, not even 6 months at the. I was like, yeah, of course. I was like, this is after I had the panic attack about I don't have a college degree. They're gonna find out and like all those kinds of things.
And they didn't hint this at all.
I mean, they hinted it like there's going to be some change, and how are you with change management and like that kind of stuff.
Most generic question ever for the craziest ask of all time.
Yeah, and literally the Thursday before my first day, it wasn't even like, hey, after a week, like let's kind of start to break the news. It was the Thursday before my first day because on the Tuesday of my first week, they were going to tell the president that this is the plan, and here's the guy that's been here for 24 hours that's going to do it. The whole company fucking despised me. Going back to why am I so like perplexed as to or frustrated with myself about not having a better content strategy? When I say I've seen all of this shit in corporate America, I've seen. So
you didn't know 100 people whose lives you were going to alter.
Yep.
How did you feel about
horrible
doing that?
The immediate reaction was dry heaving in the bathroom at the office that day.
I mean, that must have been brutal.
And then this really dark like train of thought that went from like, I can't do this, I've totally fucked up my own life because I have to go back to ESPN, they're not going to give me my job back, I'm not going to get another job, I've just ruined my career, like that whole thing, because I'm like, I don't want to touch this. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That then turned into, well, fuck, what do I do? And then it turned into the realization of like, holy shit. I realized like this, it's not going to, even if I said, I'm out, like, this is nuts. Like, I don't want to take this on. It's still going to happen.
Someone's going to do it.
Someone's going to do it.
What an interesting perspective.
And so I distinctly remember having the conversation with myself of, is there a planet in which I think I could do this with more understanding, empathy, and with better business intelligence than anybody else? The first two pieces, 1,000%, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Last piece, very much in question based on my experience at the time of like, can I do this better business decision-wise? Like, I mean, I knew restructures a little bit. I'd seen a couple of reorgs at ESPN, but nothing
that
like
big.
this.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like, here's your P&L, go. Right. And it was like that was a blessing and a curse. Blessing that when you have complete control over those things, like that's amazing. You're basically running a company inside of a company. So from a business education perspective, an incredible gift, arguably. But from a like, how sturdy are you? Like, you're getting pushed. Yeah. So I had to have the conversation of like, am I cool to take this on? To be like, no matter what, I'm going to do it in a kinder, more understanding and more empathetic way that will save more jobs and like figure out how to do things differently. And part of me for the first couple of weeks was like, I'm going to come up with the most convincing argument that they need to let me do this for a full year and not let anybody go, and then come back with another plan. Like, no, this is, the timeline is set. There's tax implications for these kinds of things. Like this, it needs to happen by this date. Like this is it, go.
Was this the moment when you realized your superpower is EQ?
No, it was actually after all of this happened, then kind of as a byproduct of having to go through that. So you let everybody go. And it was like all the things, people looking at me and just seeing the way that I looked and being like, they chose you for this job? Are you fucking kidding me? You look like you're 10. Like, what are you doing? How is this possible? People that had been in the department whose lives are being disrupted.
Yeah.
They were like, because the team was spread out across the country. So first of all, New York was like the evil empire of that's where corporate is. Then I was the shitty evil empire's like kid who like, like, oh, you think you're hot shit from Brooklyn, like dress the way that you dress in your suits and you're like all this bullshit, like get the fuck out of here. Like, I'll tell you what it's like in Syracuse when we have to deal with the local car dealer who's pissed about whatever. And so like through all of that, I had no idea. I was just like, I'm going to figure this out, and just like gritted my way through that first year of having to do the things, having to pick the people that would be my first set of direct reports, convincing them that like we can do this. I know this is impossible. And like, you just had to be part of this whole turnaround. And now you're part of the evil empire too, because I brought you in. But I'm like, we can do this. And that I was the luckiest person on the planet for that first group of people that I surrounded myself with and that were like already there. And some of them were kind of like, oh, these are no brainers to pull in as like your initial core set of direct reports. And it was after, like, I think probably within the first couple of years, I had my first person from that team that retired. And I'll never forget this. And this is when I first was like, oh, wow, like I probably should give myself more credit for how well I can do this because of how it could be helpful to others. Is at his retirement party, he pulled me aside. He was a very quiet, soft-spoken dude from Syracuse who like, just like he was adorable for so many reasons, but he was also just like, this is my world. Like I've spent my entire career in Syracuse doing this one thing. And then I come out of nowhere at the very end of it. And I'm like, we're firing everybody and starting from scratch. And this is going to suck. And like, it's going to be super uncomfortable. And he turned to me at his retirement party and he goes, God, I wish I would have met you 25 years ago in my career. Holy shit, you have to be kidding me. I thought I just destroyed the last 2 years of like what you had to go through. And especially like to put a face to this story is like a whole nother level of like how intense that moment was. And then Comcast almost buys us. That was a super weird, almost full year of them like coming in, putting nameplates on doors. And we're like, this is about to be the biggest cable acquisition in the history of the world. DOJ squashes that at the last second. Then you blink and Charter Communications comes along. And I literally wake up one day and I'm like, oh shit, we actually did just get bought. Like we went through a year of like maybe. And then all of a sudden it was like,
there it is.
Yeah.
I now work for Spectrum. 3 companies came together in that merger. And every company that came in was like, we do it the best, do it our way. Had to sort through that. Right? Job titles, process,
systems,
all of it. And through that part, it then got super toxic, right? Because everybody's like, oh, hey, cool. Fuck you too, right? Because it's like territorial. It's my way is better. It's, legacy this and all that kind of good stuff. And we hit kind of a bottom from a morale perspective. And we had this like VPs end up meeting. And the head of HR started to talk about like we need to level set on what like our core beliefs and values are. The leadership team has written this set of core beliefs that we're going to relaunch as company values. We're looking for some people to volunteer to help us bring this to life. And I was just like, absolutely. And in the back of my head too, I'm like, there's no way I'm taking anything you already have on paper. I'm rewriting this myself. And handful of other folks that volunteered too. And like, that like doubles down on your question of, and there was more of like doing it and I'm going to will this to life, especially I had gotten some feedback at that point that like, wow, we never would have survived this if it was anybody else but you through that first year. And like, I wish I would have met you earlier. So things that were just like, okay, my approach makes sense. Like this person first approach. But then I get in this environment where it's like all sharp elbows and like the super bad corporate stuff that is cliche. And I really want to rewrite the values and have a very specific set of language and talking points. It's like, I literally in my head, I saw it this way of when people start to be shitty to each other, I can be like, hey, you see the poster on the wall? Yeah, I'm the asshole that wrote that, but like you all agreed to it. You all agreed to it. And it's now a poster on the wall. So guess what? With all due respect, fuck you. This is what we're doing. Like this is where we're gonna go. So it was a series of things along those lines, but it wasn't until I started to read case studies about why emotional intelligence was actually effective in the workplace that I stumbled upon soul searching for, am I a dumbass that has been just lucky through my career that people liked me and that I was like nice enough? Or is there something, because I literally got to this juncture of, is it sharp elbows and you have to be kind of a dick to be able to make things move along at the super high end of the corporate ladder? or is there something to empathy and understanding, etc.?
Yeah.
That's why I found this Harvard Business Review series of books called How to Be More Human at Work. And I committed to, like, I'm going to read this on the subway so I can get through it as fast as humanly possible. And I remember having low expectations. It was like authentic leadership and happiness and empathy. And I'm like, shit, is this just going to make me walk away feeling like, oh, these are really nice things to have, but like there's not anything in any P&L out there that's going to corrupt. But it was actually case studies that said, no, this is real. It provides real results, both from a human perspective and from a business perspective. And that's when I was like, the handcuffs are off now. Like if I wasn't already all in, I'm 1,000 times in now on behavior will drive KPIs.
Can we talk about the TED Talk?
Well, you obviously don't feel that you did the way that you wanted to do.
Yep.
So I guess, how were you approached? What was your reaction? And then I guess, what would you have done differently?
Yeah. I've always wanted to give a TED Talk. Like, there's just been something really lovely and nerdy and fun about the idea of, I have these thoughts and I just enjoy public speaking. As quiet as I am in a lot of capacities, and yes, some people are probably like, dude, you put your life online. Like, but no, I'm like actually a pretty quiet individual in day-to-day life. I had been approached by TED a while ago about just like a partnership collaboration. Hey, come to this event and talk about kind of like a usual creator influencer, like, hey, you should care about this thing because I was paid to be here kind of thing. I then tried to pitch them like on the side of like, hey, here's some ideas that I have. And I was like, cool. And I knew it was a bit of a moonshot of like, oh, let me try to tell you what my thoughts are. I didn't know that they had people, and it's a really small company actually. Like there's like maybe I think 300 people that work on all TED. Like, yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I thought it was like, based off the impact that you guys have, I thought there was at least like a couple thousand people there.
I would have thought the same thing.
And this one guy in particular, who I have the rest of my life to thank for believing in me and showing up at events, but like he was sitting in the back of rooms when I was giving talks, and I had no idea that he was there. And he went to my management team and said, we got something. We have an event. We've got a proper TED Talk. It's not a TEDx event. Like, this is a proper TED event. We want Tim to be there. And I remember being like, no shit. Like, let's like, and
wow.
It was also, there was a lot of lead time in that. I think the conversation probably started around March of last year. And then the actual talk was in November.
Okay.
And that was getting aligned on the concept. Like, they had some thoughts like, hey, based on what we've seen you talk about already, like, we do think appreciation would be, I'm like, sold. I'm writing a book on the topic. Like, that's
amazing.
I'm totally down for that. And then it was amount of time, 8 minutes. And we're being like, holy shit, that's a super short period of time. Like, again, I think my walk-in and hello was probably 12 minutes with y'all. So
right.
Boiling this down to 8 minutes was difficult.
That's a big task.
And at the same time, too, you're doing all the other things on a day-to-day basis, right? Like going through and trying to do brand deals and trying to do all the things like keep my family afloat and all that kind of good stuff. Script process took a while, but a really fun one of back and forth of like, hey, what do you think about this? How about this? A couple rehearsals with them as well. They were just like Zoom rehearsals, and obviously you're practicing on the side too. And the final script is something, probably my most proud body of work, just this 8-minute script, like the actual script itself, not what I said on stage, because I went off script a couple times. But like,
would have never guessed.
Oh my God. I listened to my hack for remembering it, because there's no teleprompter.
Yeah. Right.
No notes.
Crazy.
For 8 minutes was an eternity to be like, and I had 50 something slides or so over the course of those 8 minutes. And I felt pretty good going in. I wasn't like, I mean, I felt good going in. But God, you walk inside that room for the first time, and you're just like, Jesus Christmas, like this is the craziest thing ever. Like that stage, you see the TED logo, like, oh my
daunting
God,
and
holy cow,
and cool and amazing.
And like the list of other people that were on the event, got really lucky. Somebody that is like, somebody that is a friend named Misty Copeland was the
we know her.
opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just the coolest person in real life. She's really close friends with one of my wife's close friends. And so just was like one of those things where I remember at first I'm like, oh, that's Misty Copeland, like the first thing that we were at together. And I didn't know.
She's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a true icon.
Yes.
Like 1,000%, like one of the most real icons, probably like of our broader generations. So that was kind of nice to be like, to see, like, have kind of like a ice break moment with somebody else that you kind of know in real world, at least a little bit. And, but the whole thing was so friggin' daunting. And I'm like, am I going to cry on stage? Like, what the hell's going to happen with this? I had just re-fractured my leg, like really bad, trying to run the New York City Marathon on a fractured leg.
What?
Yeah. So like I had a stress fracture in my left leg that happened right as New Balance put me in like all of their creative for the New York City Marathon.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, felt obligated to try to run the marathon. So I tried to run the marathon on a fractured leg, and like I get 9 miles in and I'm like, I literally feel my bone breaking with like every step, like I have to stop. And then the TED Talk was the next week. And so like the amount of pain that I was like hobbling around in too, I'm not wearing a walking boot on stage for a TED Talk, right? So I'm like up there.
That's insane.
Like kind of sweating bullets in regards to like how much my leg hurts. But I fucked up. Like I went off script a couple times where like I kept telling myself like, do not veer off of the script.
Is that the expectation, that you stay on script?
The expectation is you finish on time.
Okay.
The expectation is you don't say anything that they're going to be like, why did you say that? There's like, they don't want you to, like some of the obvious things, like don't curse like a lot. And like, we want this, make it help. Like, but yes, they pre-approved script, but that they weren't like, hey, why did you say this instead of that kind of thing? But I go on tangents, right? And even just like the tiniest tangent in an 8-minute thing could all of a sudden start to, and it was a hard, like, if you're 10 seconds over, you're fine. If you're 2 minutes over, we have a problem. Like, don't be on that list of people that we talk about after the fact that was like screwed up the whole schedule.
Right.
Because they were kind of rude about the fact that they had a script that was 8 minutes and they didn't stick to it.
Was there a timer in the back you were watching the whole time?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so I couldn't watch it for like, they sent me the raw unedited piece immediately. And I'm like, I can't watch it. I'm like, absolutely cannot watch that. And if I would have hit the script on script so that I could hit the points of emphasis as needed, it would have been way better. Like astronomically, in my opinion, astronomically better. I don't know how much of this stuff the viewer would actually note.
Is there something that you missed that you would still really want to emphasize and probably will emphasize in your book that you feel like, okay, maybe I didn't hit this as hard as I could have?
There's one, it was so funny. It was like, and I can't even say it now. Like there's no way I could play it back. I had one slide and for some reason, as often as I practice, I could not get this one thing, which is basically the definition of being addicted to appreciation is blank. But it was so word for word that my brain just is not great at memorizing lines. It's part of the reason why I almost never talk directly to the camera, which is why I like doing podcasts, because I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And why I always do voiceover.
Yeah.
Because I can just sit there quietly and be like, what do I want to say next? What do I want to say next?
Think about it for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think I said, like, if there's one slide that you read, please read this one.
Yes,
that was in part a Band-Aid for me to be like, I don't know this word for word because I'm freaked out.
We're going to read it together.
We are reading this together. This is my Band-Aid of, I practice this so many times and I can't get this word for word right now. And you can hear the hesitation. You can hear the hesitation in my voice. And it was one of the clips that I wanted them to clip because it was such an important point of emphasis. and you can hear in my voice where like I say the first few words and then I kind of like wait until my brain catches up, or I actually like glimpse over at what the slide was because there was no teleprompter,
Right.
to then say the rest of it. And if I hit those beats the way that I should have hit them, I think it's a different.
Having watched it last night, I will tell you it's fresh on my head. And I will say, I think it sounded so much more almost sincere and passionate with the pauses that you're talking about. Like, as I received it as, wow, I should really listen to this part.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I wouldn't say I flunked it, right?
No.
But there's, there are parts where I'm like, this could have been.
Yeah. Well, and your potential. So it's easy to reflect that way.
I'd like to think, and again, it all goes back to like the larger point of like really living up to my own expectations of what I should be able to do impact wise now, simply based off of not who I am and but I just happen to sneak in and out of corporate America with 25 years of all of this insight and all those crazy experiences and stories that I know can help a crap load of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like, oh, you kind of feel bad, like, oh, I just didn't deliver the message as well as it could have been delivered. It's like you ran over the mountain with the secret that somebody else gave you and you got there and you're so out of breath that you're just like fumbling through it and you're like, spit it out, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? But I mean, obviously the more important point is, will somebody actually look around the room and see things differently? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's why I will take the gift of, it wasn't so good that I don't have to say it ever again. I can just be like, go watch this. And it's such a meaty topic that I can get into like details of things because it's a disposition.
Which is why the book is going to be amazing.
Disposition. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the big focus this year, the book?
The book is done. The book is like,
oh
Oh, wow.
I've rewritten it 3.5 times now, and it's probably 90% there, minus like some final edits.
Oh, wow.
It's still gonna take like the book writing process is a long one, so I don't have a specific date to be like, cool, like pre-order is gonna start like blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but like
But next year it'll come out,
done.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000%.
So exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it.
Well, the crazy like is again like with that whole, does this really happen? And kind of that like, oh my god, this is not normal kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
How crazy it is to write a book. That is so wild to think about. But the whole going from PowerPoints and Word documents to 80,000 words across. I remember the first version of it was god awful because I'm like, you're on page 60 and you're like, what the hell did I say 20 pages ago?
Yeah.
And go back and read it.
And then you start to go back and read it, you start to cringe at yourself. And you're just like, oh, this is just a vicious cycle. And like how, and then you hand it in and then it comes back with like 30,000 like line by line things. You're just like,
what am I doing?
Oh my, yes, exactly. You're like, this is awful. I just want to hide. Can I go back to my job? Like this is all of the things that I could have never imagined that are just difficult. But yeah.
How did you balance all of that? So making the content, writing the book, then you're also prepping for a TED Talk and had just recently left the job.
Yeah.
I guess with the 4 to 10 schedule, that makes sense. But talk to me about, I guess, like how you balance those things and how we talked about this a little bit. But as a creative person, you have so many ideas. Like you said, your brain's all over the place. How do you pick what you do?
Great question. From like out of all of the things, like cool. Next, like here's the projects that it starts with, does it help serve your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, does it fit into that piece at all? Is it interesting and is it going to help me do what I want to do for my family? And the rest is kind of just figuring it out as you go, if I'm being honest. Like
what sounds
I don't
fun?
know. I mean, and there's so many things that popped up out of the clear blue sky where I was not on my roadmap last year to go to an F1 race. And I went to 3 in like over a 6-week period too, because this amazing opportunity with PwC popped up.
So cool.
At the last second. And even my team at first was like, or the team that manages the brand deals that come through were like, you have a lot going on right now. Like, if this is a no, I get it. And that was another one where I turned to my wife and I was like, this is I would have to be in Austin next week, and then I'd have to go to Mexico City, and then there'd be a couple weeks off, and then I go to Vegas. Plus, there's all the deliverables that go with this. Plus, I have to like wrap my head around this very, very, very different creative brief that they have. And she's like, "We'll be fine. Like, yeah, go do it."
I love her.
Oh my God.
Can we talk about Kelly Jane for 2
1,000,
seconds?
please.
I feel like
1,000%.
she is the constant
Yes.
out of all of the things in your life.
Yep.
What does she give you in your relationship that makes you who you are?
Jesus. It's so funny too. Like it like genuinely makes me emotional to think about, which is like the craziest thing, but it's like the best thing too, because it's like, yeah, it's so wild. It's been 21 years.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
She was 22.
Yeah.
I was 27, and like we were just like a couple of the stupidest kids that like literally met each other in the blink of an eye. We're like, cool, this is it.
I love that.
Like,
That's so wild.
it's nuts. It is so nuts. And like, and they like, it's all the cliche things. I don't know if you have a Kleenex here, but like,
Oh,
Sarah with the assist.
and like, but like you do, I think about, it was actually Martin Luther King Day, 2005. We tried to elope. We'd known each other for 100 days. And think about a world in which there's no real texting yet.
Yeah.
I think this was all done via phone calls and some email of like, hey, when we get to San Diego, let's go get married. It's like, cool. We were, first date to wedding day was 7 months. And they're just kind of like, okay, cool, let's go. Like, my dad actually, and he told this story to her several years after we got married and made her actually cry.
Oh no.
Because it was like the kind of story that you probably just keep to yourself forever. He like the date, like maybe an hour before it was supposed to start, he grabs, he's like, if you want to leave now, I'll go with you. I was like, what? He's like, you haven't known her for very long. Like, it's okay if you want to leave now. Like, I'll go with you. Like, I love him to death for the fact that he was like,
ride or die,
giving
dude,
you an out.
Yeah.
He's so on your team.
You're my only child. You're my boy. Like, if you need,
He told her that.
yeah. And so he told her that like after the fact, and she's like, what the fuck? Understandably. And the best is he'll tell the story and he'll tell it on par, which is I turn to him and it's like, dude, shut up, go sit down. And please don't do anything stupid, right? And I'm very proud of like the 27-year-old version of me that was like, that wasn't like, oh, wait a minute. Or like,
yes.
what are you saying? That was just like,
Unwavering.
Yeah. It's like, Dad,
I know what I'm doing.
shut up and go sit down. Right. And I
Love
like,
it.
don't talk to my dad that way. But like, I was pretty adamant in the moment of like, like, no. But also too, from his perspective, like I remember, and you can see the look on his face in like the 1 or 2 pictures we have from like the rehearsal dinner the night before of him being like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I'm in Portland, Oregon. Like, I'd never been to Oregon before in my life until Kelly and I met. I don't think my dad had been to Portland before. And he's like trying to wrap his head around this family, and they were like very different in a lot of ways. But yeah, it was like a first date, immediate. And a first date wasn't even like really a first date. It was a like hanging out with like a group of 4 people. We met while working at ABC Sports in Las Vegas, and she walked in as the new hire because I mentioned she worked for University of Oregon or ABC Sports through University of Oregon a bunch, and so she was brought in on this new crew. And I knew that she was coming. I knew that she was like technically not a direct report of mine, but like worked like for me kind of as like this day hire or like week hire as a stage manager. And I remember being like, God damn it, I did not want to be this attracted to the new hire. And it was like literally within 24 hours.
Instant.
Like, yeah.
Ugh. Very lucky, it sounds like.
We're we have a good, I'm so fucking lucky for so many reasons. It's crazy, which again goes all the way back to do a better job of extracting all of the helpful stuff that you have in your brain because of how lucky you are on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Because every time I get a DM that's like, hey, this thing just happened in my life, I wanted to say thank you because like you helped with this, like still just tip of the iceberg, right? 2 formal shoots into the Subway pep talk thing that if I get that right, not only is that helping the people in the conversations, but like I know that each one of those conversations has a multiplying effect of like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that are like, that's me. I've had that problem, or I'm stuck in that situation now, and that kind of stuff. So, but it's part of the chase, and why I really admire what you both are doing at this juncture, being like, why not do this? See what happens, have fun doing it, still be present, still try to balance the thing. Like, I'm part of the reason why I'm like, I got no shot if I was trying to do all these things if I was your age. I really don't. Which then just goes back into the cycle of, so take what you've learned and try to pay it forward again.
Yeah.
It matters so much. Okay, I have a fun idea.
Yeah.
So we
To
had
wrap
way
this
too many
up.
things we wanted to talk about with you.
Yeah.
So I wrote them all down and I put them in this cup.
Okay.
And I thought
We're gonna
we could
try to
just
rapid fire these, but
randomly
we'll see.
draw some
cool.
and go through as many as we can.
All right, cool. I'll try to be as fast as my.
Okay. Taco Tuesday. Tell me about it.
It was Taco Monday and fish tacos. It was, if you have staples of things that bring you extreme joy food wise that are on the regular, it helps tremendously as you go through your career, because you're just like, it's going to be a good night.
You're looking
And so
forward
the
to it.
fact that was every single Monday, fish tacos every single Monday for like a decade plus, critical.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. You love sneakers. Where did this come from? How is it still?
1989.
Yeah. Tell us more.
1989 Air Jordan 4. I walk into a sporting goods store as a 12-year-old kid, and I'm like, what are those? I don't remember the Air Jordan 1, 2, or 3, but the 4, for some reason, was the first time I was like old enough, or I was like, these don't make any sense. Like, the way that they're designed is so different from every other sneaker I'd ever seen up to that point. And then Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing came out. They were like an infamous part of that overall story arc. And it just changed the way that I looked at aesthetics, period. Like, not just sneakers, but aesthetics overall. And then I was hooked.
Amazing. And you still love them all the time. And you,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm like,
I noticed when you walked
yeah,
in. Oh, your tattoos. Okay,
Yeah.
so this was a later in life thing.
yep. Oh, totally.
Tell me
Mostly
about
in my
that.
30s.
Yeah.
I got my first one when I was 18. Didn't get another one until I was 28, 29. And then between 32 and 38-ish, I got a bazillion. And it was like, I got addicted not to getting the tattoos, but to further expressing myself in ways that was very not corporate at a time where I was going through the firings and like all of those other things. And I felt like if I can effectively find the time to go do this, they take time, do them the right way. I would build PowerPoint presentations for tattoo artists that thought I was crazy, because I was trying to be efficient. Of like, I have this much space in this area. Here are 4 designs that are an example of what I would like to do, and mapped out like both arms and parts and pieces, and tried to continue to puzzle together things that matter to me, things that I want to be able to talk about. If somebody's like, hey, what's that? There's some pieces where I'm just like, that's cool. Like, I got it because I think it's cool, and that's it. And there's some that are like super, super deep. But it was also very much me rebelling against all things corporate at the time, but also proving that I could be effective and efficient with the time, and also do it in a different way so that it didn't become like a problem or like kind of a pain in the ass. And that included me making PowerPoint presentations for tattoo artists to be like, this way I can show up and you're going to be like, cool, I've got it. It's sized out. Let's put it on and get out, versus the usual, like, kind of like, hey, what about this? Like, let's size it up. I was like, let me make this as easy for you as possible, even if it seems weird. And then in a very short period of time, like wrists to shoulders and
Covered.
my ribs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That translates so well to how you do so many other things. I love it. You brought it into the
very on
tattoos.
brand.
Yeah.
Okay. The marathon. So have you run it more than once? Clearly you almost run it
Yep.
on a broken leg.
Yep.
Tell me about that. Did you always run?
No, I didn't start running until I was 42-ish. Kelly tricked me into my first one. Literally signed me up for the marathon before the pandemic, and didn't tell me until like, here's the acceptance thing. I was like,
Nice.
I'm like,
As a
I don't-
joke, or did she know?
No, she'd already run like 10 or 12 at this point, was like, you need to do one. You need to have this experience. I was like, no, I don't. I literally had zero interest.
This is for you.
Yes. I like my long walks. Maybe
Agreed.
once a month I'll run like 5-ish miles, but like there's not a plan. It got to a point where she's like, if you do not start training this weekend, I deferred the first year. Well, there was the pandemic. And then when it came back, I ignored the email. So it was like, I tried to get out of it. And then it got to the summer, it was like, you're in it. If you don't start training this weekend, you're going to die out there.
Right.
And there's not a question as to whether or not you're going to go to the start line. So you better get your ass out there and start training. Greatest gift ever.
Amazing.
I've run 4 now. I've run New York City 3 times successfully, twice by myself, once with her, held hands over the finish line, finished at the same exact time so that we could have our names next to each other in the New York Times.
So awesome.
And then I ran London last year. I am signed up to run London this year in like 3 months. I just got an MRI on Saturday, so I'll find out the next 48 hours.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So do you think you have the running bug now, or is it
totally.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It catches quick.
Yeah. By the way, and this is a total side tangent, but just as like a little, see, the other cannabis and running is like the greatest combination.
I've wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure it's a sativa. If it's an indica, you're screwed.
It might make you like running more.
I know.
Yeah.
I ran a half marathon and I thought never again, but maybe I'll try that and we'll see how it goes.
It's
Report back.
Yeah.
Okay, we kind of already did this one, but just dad life. What's it like having a daughter?
Oh my God. It's the greatest. Girl dad, like
Yeah.
the best ever. And what a gift, truly a gift of a lifetime to be like, I have to be here to help support you into becoming a woman, which is like the craziest thing ever for a dude.
Yeah, I bet.
Right? Like,
totally.
She's 13 now.
Yeah.
How do I not like just protect her? Like, how do I help empower her?
Yeah.
The craziest thing I'll ever do in my life is to get her to be as good and as happy of a human being as she wants to be. I'm taking her to Amsterdam in 25 days.
So exciting.
Literally pulled it out of a hat of like, where's dad and daughter going to go on?
Have you been before? Okay.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
I know the city really well. Already got a houseboat because of the connection through the creator space, the brand of cargo bike that I always ride. Reached out and they're like, need a bike? I'm like, yeah, I need a bike. Let's do this.
Oh my gosh.
Itinerary, like I've had museums already reach out to me. They're like, hey, we heard this is happening. I'm like, sign me up. All the stuff. Like,
so awesome.
So
fully stacked trip.
The thought of the two of us. Have you guys been to Amsterdam?
Yeah, we have.
So
it was
fun.
one of my top 5 places I've ever been.
It's like a living museum.
Yes,
how
exactly.
wild the architecture is and how beautiful the canals are. So yeah.
Okay, we briefly talked about this, but music.
Yep.
You're very into it as a kid, still now, especially Noah.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about that. I've heard you say that he had a profound impact on you.
Music for me goes back to all the stuff we discussed, right? Like early 90s or like mid 90s ish, I guess. The grunge scene. My dad worked in radio for his entire career, so like music was always there. My mom was adamant about me being truly a student of the history of rock and roll, where she'd be like, you need to listen to like everything from Lead Belly to 50s stuff. Made sure that like Chuck Berry was something that I was very well aware of. The best. And so it was always there. MTV in the 90s, always on repeat, like literally VHS in the thing to try to record videos so that I could then watch them when I wanted to and not just like when they were on TV. And and Noah was remarkable, because of the story that I have to tell of when I met him, like not early-ish, but like he hadn't like fully blown up yet.
Yeah.
And I went ice fishing with this guy named Fritz, who most people know as Old Time Hockey online. He's a guy who's like, well, hello there, buddy. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos. It's like,
we'll go look at it.
It's the best corner of the internet.
Oh my gosh, I need to be on it.
Yeah.
Old Time. You're going to watch it, be like, I can't believe it now. And when you watch it, think about me going to visit him to go ice fishing. We then get on a 4-seat bush plane to fly to Detroit to go see Noah Kahn perform. And I just like found out about his music because of this trip. But the connection, his music is just fantastic for so many reasons. And the fact that my daughter picked up on it and that was one of her first true music obsessions at like 12 years old. It was like, of all the things you could be gravitating towards now, there's some stuff in there that's a bit too intense for like an 11, 12-year-old,
Right.
but overall, like I'll take it. But music can have more of an impact on the soul than I think just about anything else. I mean, everybody's a slightly different, where some people might say art or poetry or film, or, you know, everything resonates with people differently. But like music can be everything. I was at Nirvana Unplugged. I was at the Radiohead show the week before OK Computer came out at Irving Plaza, which was like, that album is one of the most important albums in modern times, I would argue. And
it's iconic.
I was looking at the guest list of that the other day, because I remember being like, I think that guest list was pretty wild. Like looking around being like, holy shit, it was like Brad Pitt, Madonna, Marilyn Manson, Pearl Jam was there, the Beastie Boys were there. It was like the craziest list in this tiny place, Irving Plaza. So
Wild.
I've been super lucky, again, because my dad worked in radio.
Right.
So like I got to see a lot of concerts for free.
So cool.
But I mean, that's a whole podcast in and of itself.
Let's do final question, I think.
Yes.
If for any reason,
Yeah.
looks, personality, vibe, aspiration, if anyone could play you in your biopic, who would it be?
Oh my God, Jesus, that is a super daunting one. It's funny, like for a minute, like before I ever made a single piece of content, and this is before I stopped watching TV, I always thought that Jim from The Office was like an interesting like parallel.
Yes.
Yes. I can definitely see that. John Krasinski?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, that's like an impossible question now, just because I'm like, well, shit, I have some gray hair in my beard. So like, what do I,
They could look nothing like you.
Yeah, it could
and
just
if
be
you've
something else.
resonated to a piece of their acting, you can choose them.
the funny thing is, like, I've seen 2 movies in theaters over the past like 7 years. And I think it was Sing 2 and Zootopia 2. Like
Both
literally just
incredible films.
it like obviously for my daughter.
Mhm.
But to do all the other things, I cut out watching TV and movies a super long time ago, which I don't necessarily recommend, but it was part of like, get the time back of, you can watch important sports on TV, but otherwise like nothing gets digested. So yeah, I'm going to say Jim from The Office.
That's
just 'cause
great.
Go with that.
Yeah.
I love that. Great. It makes sense too, I feel
Yeah.
like.
It's
good.
good.
Well, thank you so much. We really enjoyed talking to you.
This
We
was
learned
so
was so
it was so fun.
I had the best time. You guys are fantastic. So
Thank
We
you for
think the same
saying
of you.
yes.
Yeah.
my pleasure.